Hi, thanks for including me. My name is Tony Lee. I'm the head of global recruiting operations, enablement and programs at Contentful, which we are a SaaS headless CMS company that's global, mainly Europe and North America, with a team roughly of about 30 plus recruiters who have hired roughly about 1,000 people in the last 3 years. It's been kind of a crazy hyper growth ride. I envision that we will be deeper in kind of a marketing operations role, in the sense of recruiting traditionally, pre social media, pre LinkedIn. If you think about the fax machine and the phone, the phone with the cord. Everyone remembers phones having cords. That we were more salesy, knock on doors, newspaper ads. I feel like where things are already maturing is we're moving out of this kind of sales attitude and more into a operational marketing. The preparation is bigger in terms of where you're going to advertise, how you're going to attract, what events you're going to do, um, and which is operationally marketing. And then how do you attract people and build campaigns around finding talent versus just pick up a phone or an email and trying to get someone to say hi to you. I've been part of TA for a long time in the sense of, and much like career, um, uh, a big theme for a while has been machine learning and artificial intelligence. There was a big talk about IBM Watson taking over all recruiting at some point. Um, and all that kind of came and went. A lot of great people I know try to embed chatbots and talent matching and job description matching to and rank scoring and then candidate rediscovery. I think in the end, every single thing needed a human touch. There's still a factor, there's still human behavior that I think is unique in talent. Does that mean bias? Probably to a certain degree, but I think technology will continue by 2030 to complement recruiting. So I think in the future, social media, video interviewing, smart interactive chatbots, text analyzers, there's some of the stuff exists today. As you interview, it listens to you like a Siri or an Alexa, and it tells you, "Hey, did you ask this question?" Or ask them for more details. I think we'll have more assistance that will complement how we recruit in the future. But I think ultimately, recruiting is still going to be a human behavior that still needs a partner. Um, but again, that goes back to a question earlier about how do I envision teams in 2025 in terms of marketing operations, like just like kids today. My kids can Netflix, use a smartphone by like two. They're like way smarter than me with like the remote, if remotes exist anymore. Now you can turn on TV just by using your voice. I think recruiting is going to be the same. You're going to use your voice and have to know how to use technology to recruit smarter, faster, and it'll uh, simplify the process. But we still need the people. Um, I mean, just I'll finish it this way. Just think of the other side of the coin. If I'm someone looking for a job, am I more likely to say yes to a robot, or am I more likely to say yes to a human being? So I think that human factor is still going to play a big part in how we recruit in the future. I think teams will have to adjust. I think I'll put it this way. I think every team needs a balance, and in the past, everyone had somewhat of the same skill sets. Who can make 100 calls in a day? Uh, um, who can stay up for 12 hours or go knock on doors? I think today teams are blended where you still have those heavy sourcers who are good at just looking at 1,000 profiles a day, calling people. They know how to find, source, uh, and evaluate talent. But then again, I think the up and comers in the talent space are the ones who are really good with technology, really good with tools, really good with integrations, know how to tweak the back end of an ATS or a analytics tool to figure out, find the pain points of this group of interviewers always gives a 2 out of 5 on a scorecard, or our conversion rate um, for our hiring manager screen is 20%, and we're wasting time. So I think you're gonna have those data analysts who could easily have as many hires because they're better at the operational data piece. But then again, they may not be as good at. One day, someone's gonna say, "Just go find me the smartest person in this field." Um, and you still need that talent. So I think in the future, instead of having that person's good at sourcing over here and that person good at tools over here, those roles will uh, just think of engineering. You co-pairing coding. Uh, uh, you'll I see the future of recruiting as not one recruiter on one role. It's going to be a group of recruiters with different skill sets in a pod working on multiple roles at the same time. And so every skill is still going to be needed, but very much so, like my kids, you're going to need that techie smart person to be part of the mix in order to be successful for the future. I think the next 12 months, there's a big shift in the market right now of, I mean, today, for those who are watching this or look back at it, today is December of 2022, which is the year or the quarter of the big tech collapse. I wouldn't call it collapse, but definitely restructure. Um, and so I say this with the intent that today the challenge is there are mass layoffs all over the place. So people are publicly sharing that they're available, which will happen when things like this in the economy happen. But in general, let's rewind 1 year ago, 2021, or I think in the next 12 months, people are advertising that they're available less. Uh, the more attractive candidates are the passive candidates who aren't saying they're available. Um, we find more people available on uh, public layoff lists or referrals versus LinkedIn, or if anyone ever still uses Career Builder, Hot Jobs, Dice. If those job boards are listening, I'm sorry, but people aren't as active in saying I'm active. And so for me, the sourcing strategy for the next 12 months really is, what is candidate nurture? What is candidate campaigning, and how do you build talent pools? And I think it's almost like rewinding in a way where you didn't have these massive databases in the past. They exist today, but today I think the future is going to be those databases are a reference versus your first stop to go find people. And your first stop to go find people is, well, how am I attracting people to my brand? What events am I doing? What diversity partnerships? What um, you know, what am I what events am I tagging along with, or in this case, like me, what conversation am I having that are unrelated to me looking for people to attract people to me and my brand and my company. And because I'm doing this conversation, hopefully 100 people say, wow, I want to work with Tony. And then now I'm building this talent pool where I'll nurture them over time, get them to like me and the company. And we'll hire those folks who I bet have not updated their LinkedIn profile in 6 months. I would say it's probably getting deeper into talent intelligence. Um, uh, for a while, I think the industry's been kind of piecemealing. I call it the API decade, or the revolution, where it's easy to piecemeal all the tools that you like the most, and have them talk to each other. I think people are slowly going back to the idea of like, well, what if I had one tool that did lots of things? Um, uh, but the challenge today is that TA is no longer just sourcing candidates, interview, hire. TA today is a combination of people development and L&D and HR and people strategy and headcount planning and onboarding. And so I think the challenge today is the next technology I'd want is something that can. So for me personally, and this is probably more on my side, is I need insightful data and predictive analytics. And so I love something that could help me figure out what headcount I have, what capacity I have as a team, our candidate flow, our sourcing flow, our interview stats, and then give me some kind of intelligent, because dashboards we can build all day. if you have the right people, you can throw all your data into one pot, a data warehouse, and use a Looker or Tableau to build your own dashboard. So I can report all day long on my data, but at the end of the day, um, this is why I think machines are better than people is, but they can look at trends and see behavior and figure out when things spike or dip, that then you surface that behavior to us and say, this is not normal. And that's where I'm looking for the next 12 months. And I have a few ideas in mind, like an eightfold or something kind of talent intelligence analytics driven, but I haven't settled on anything yet. But I think that's what makes sense next, so we can hire faster, smarter, and integrate the different pieces of HR potentially into our decision making model. And so my advice to TA professionals is in that responsibility of building connections and making offers. Um, uh, the talent acquisition and recruiting landscape today is you simply just can't go log in, find 30 profiles, submit 2 candidates, get an interview, and make an offer. Today, our job is so much bigger. People ask us about benefits and culture and what clothes should I wear for the interview and what's it like to work there. Um, what's the diversity like? Am I going to fit in? What am I going to learn when I'm there? How long do you want me there for? People don't expect a lifetime career anymore with the pension. They're thinking about like, what am I going to do for the next year or two? So my advice to professionals is in that new responsibility, don't lock yourself into, I'm a sourcer, I'm going to go hire someone. Our teams at Contentful and our attitude with our 30 plus recruiters here, 30 plus in our recruiting spaces, what can you do to learn more about spreadsheets and operations and data analytics? What can you learn about candidate experience and hiring manager experience? How can we improve how fast, the speed, but also the quality of the experience? And that could mean that you have to connect with marketing, learning and development, finance, legal, hiring managers, operations, the events team, the party team, the facilities team. If you're building connections between candidates and hiring manager, build connections internally. And how can you leverage everybody internally to make your experience unique and better? And I think that's my advice to TA professionals is you're only going to be happy in your role, and to grow is to do something else besides recruiting. Uh, and I think that's how you're going to find satisfaction and sustainability in the role that you're in.